we got this J feather that come all the way down from Wisconsin. So we may end up doing the whole roof end ceiling on this. That's what we're doing. We're doing an exploration right now. It's got this great little toy hauler up front here where you can put all your four-wheelers, or if you were a traveling landscaper, you could put your lawnmower there. Like you could cut grass from here to Wisconsin. That would be cool. There's a rider mower or zero turn, and you get badass with it right there. But that's what we're working on. We're going to explore this and see what's going on. Okay, there's some concerns that we have with this light rack, and we were just talking about maybe taking this light rack off. This water was getting down in there and kept rotting out right down in here. Water will get down and it'll drool down inside there. Same with the lights. That's why there's so much caulking on here. So we may think of a different design or maybe get rid of it altogether. But you can look at and see the way the air conditioner is. A little blur there. There we are. It's got a little tilt coming back. There's a little dip right in here under that. But that's typically where all these start failing, is all these protrusions like around here. What I don't like about these ones especially, this water will get right up inside here and it'll drool down in that crack down there and it'll get behind. There's a screw right here, there's a screw right here, and there's one on the third one's on the other side. Well, water will just get right in here and then it'll leak and then you get some rot out there, right? So that's what we're trying to do, just get everything all back together. You can see how sunken this is. I'll bring this back for you. Pull this turn bar back. You can see how it's kind of aiming down. It's hitting the roof over here. So typically what happens is when the air conditioner can't drain well, it will end up backing up, and when it backs up, it'll get into the roof system. So it's going to drain. If it's working properly, it will drain. Now where the water ends up may be another story. And it looks like that's what happened here, is it backed up and then it just started rotting all this out. So we get the same issue over here with this other light bar as we did in the back. So we're going to start ripping this whole roof up in itself. This is a TPO roof, and you can tell because it's got this fleece under it, and it's a real thin TPO. It's nothing like what we use, but we will have to redeck a roof that has TPO, because when we go to rip this up, this fleece is going to be stuck to the decking, so it's going to have to be redecked anyways. I always hated those antennas over there. That little boot that's on that side, see if I can get a better angle of it. Can you move that drill? There you go. You can see that boot right there. That boot, the water will trickle down the wire and get in that boot. You want to lift that boot up. You want to lift it up, load it, and slide it back down if you have one of those. I mean, it's all coming up anyways, but you can see the difference. And typically you want to replace these AC gaskets every 2 years. So that's what my AC guy said anyways. So that's about it on this little Jayco. So we'll be ripping this apart and showing you what else we got underneath it. Well, we're plugging along with our little J Flight. This is J Flight. This is J Feather. J Feather. Baja. Yeah. Baja. So we took up all the loose stuff, just peel it all up. That's what we're doing. We're gonna peel it all up. You can see some more loose stuff. We got all this stuff that we can't peel up, but nonetheless, once we get all that, any discoloration, I want to make sure we don't have any mold in this thing. We're going to be hitting this with some mold kill. So I'm going to soak it down overnight and just let it soak on in there. Some of the things, this is a Lance. Oh, this is Jayco. Yeah, not Lance, this is Jayco. So let me show you this fine design. Nothing in here, there's no strength. So you need these trusses. These are what your roof is. So we were wondering where all that sag was. When we looked at it originally, we had the sag in the back of the air conditioner here. So lo and behold, looky there. How much strength do you think is in that? 0. If you guess 0, you were correct. Yes, not only that, they put this little buffer piece in here, see if I can get around. That goes in there, but it does not protect the wires in the back. It only protects the wires from here, not here. So we gotta make sure we don't have any problems with those wires, and that's what we're gonna check. Then, so we gotta add some strength to this. We will add a lot of strength to this. See? And they barked out this one too for these wires. This is just going across to hold the air conditioner, but there's nothing there, you can see. And this is aluminum frame. People say, I love aluminum frames. Yeah, this is a cheap alloy, and they don't even weld it. Look at there, no weld. It's not even welded. So, how are you gonna have strength on something like that? You might as well just connected the pieces to it. There's nothing to it. So, they also did the same over here on this side. Same thing. Look at that big hole. Look there, see? Big hole. Let's see how these wires are doing while we're here. According to my camera work, I want to see if there's any compromise on these things. That's what I'm looking for. I just don't like it. Let's see if I can get the camera down there. I got to switch a little bit. Look at that size of that hole. That is crazy. That's a big ass hole. Boom, boom. We're gonna have to censor this video. Trying to see if this thing's any compromised at all. They don't feel that bad, ironically. They did kind of file it, so it's not really abrupt. But we got to do something better than that. And then this here, this is a little sharp on this edge. That's the whole purpose of this. But gee whiz, that is craziness. You took out all the strength of this whole piece. I mean, literally. Because now all you got is this edge and this edge, and if you don't have that corner bent, no strength in the metal. So we are going to rectify that. And that's about where we're at so far. So, more to come. Exciting. We got to figure out how we're going to put these lights, those off-road lights, back on there. Possibly. Then, they also want us to put a dancing pole in here, I think, right there below the air conditioner. So we may do that. And we'd be willing to sponsor that. Alright, we're going to give you an update on our J-feather here. Alright, so what we did is we've got some steel that we're going to run across, as you can see, these pieces here. We're going to run them across to the other side. We're going to jack up the ceiling. There's a channeled steel right here is what it is. It's 16 gauge. It is heavy duty. So we're going to run that across, which will give that some strength. We have another piece of steel we're going to run down to connect it all. But this has to get jacked up first, and then we're going to redeck the whole thing. By the time we do all that, there'll be so much built on it with adhesives and glues and fasteners that it isn't going to go anywhere. It can't go anywhere. But this is a really terrible design on these Jaycos. These, just at first look, you would think that they were metal that ran all the way across, but they're plastic. So the only metal frame to this whole thing is right here where the air conditioner was, and then over here in the front is one right here. Right there's one right at the edge, and that's the only ones you can find and show one there. So it's just a perimeter frame, two going across for the AC. That's it. That's not nearly enough on there, and they've got all the bad part is the way they've done the center line with the electrical going through, like right here. All that is just a piss poor design. Now the speakers are right there as well, so you can't even really break these. So we're trying to put them 16 on the center is what we're trying to do, to give it as much strength as we can. But now this is just a terrible design for sure. So all right, well that's where our update is, and we're going to clean it off, get all this done. We just started our layout, and I like the way it's going, but like I said, we're gonna finish it up and get it decked here shortly. We also went along and soaked this all down with mold kill, just for safe measure. All right, let's show you what we got going on here. So the way we straighten this out, 16 gauge steel going all the way across. That's going to bridge all the weight we need. There was no stock in here, so we fitted this in here and glued it down inside that foam, so it's tight. Then we got another piece of 16 gauge running down because we got lights and wires there, and that's where the brake was, so we stitched it all. Stitched them, and they're glued. You actually can see it right there. Glued and screwed. Just needs to be tattooed. And now we're pinning the decking on here is what we're doing. So we're trying to make sure we get a pretty good, it's got a little camber in it. We did that on purpose so when we drop it down. So we're just double checking in there. May have to put a jack pole here or there, but this foam is going to expand, hopefully balance out the roof is what we're hoping for. If there is a little dip, it's going to be very minor. But it's just coming along. And yes, we are nailing this down. All right, we are here. I'll tell you all what happened since we got the last section down. We went over everything, put additional screws in it. The little gun that I was using, that's actually a nail gun. It shoots through the metal and it'll fasten wood to it. But we also went along and sanded all those joints. And now we've got protective strips on here. So, and that took a little bit to get down, get it nice and clean and looking well. And then that little burp I think we had over there, it had a little sag in it. That came right out. That foam expanded like I thought it would. So everything's looking real well. Now all what we're doing, you can see we're applying all the glue. And then we'll obviously put it on the sheet. We roll it over. And then once we roll it over, do the other side. So we'll, that's where we are. Short video to tell you how long it took us to do all that there. But it's a project coming together. Like to see the roofing getting down on it. Like to see that. That right there, the reason why he's having so much trouble is because that's a child-proof cap that's on there. And he is just struggling with that. Digging out some wires over here. Now we roll it all out with this big heavy roller. What we're trying to do is kind of promenade the protective strips underneath there. I just think it kind of looks clean and sharp. Helps lay down nice. So the next step is to roll this other half over, the passenger side, we'll roll it over, we'll do the same thing, glue it and roll it, just like we did this side. Then curbs go on, and all the curbs, we've got all them prepped so far. Now this is what we got so far, a mess. So we've got everything all welded in. Now we're just trying to assemble everything. We got the AC sitting up here, we still got the antenna to go right here. And then we're putting in this termination bar right here. Refrigerator vent over there, it needs to be sealed and installed. Obviously a back vent back here. And then one of the other things we did, we got these boots right here. That's what we designed up. So now his lights, he had off-road lights, are going to sit right there. And he had some in the back over here as well. We got those off-road lights right there. So that's what we're working on so far. And then also we're cleaning out all of the booger out of the lights right here because we're going to reseal and recaulk this coach, this little camper. I call everything a coach. So that's what we're working on. And then we still got to put, we've got one layer behind this gutter rail. We got one layer behind there. You can see how all the caulk can come out of the screws. So we got one layer behind there. We still got to prime it, and we still have to get that a couple of licks on there. So that's where we are so far. So on the downside, this is what we're doing. There was a piece of molding that went over this trim mold. So we're cleaning everything out, cleaning out around the lights here, cleaning that corner mold right here, around the speakers, cleaning that out, get everything off of this. Even that little, like that little whisker right there, take that out. Everything's got to be cleaned and washed. And then we're going to go back and we're going to caulk this. So I'll show you how we do it. There's a guy up on YouTube I'm not a fan of telling you how to do it just like the manufacturer. And I gotta say, he's absolutely right. He does it the way the manufacturer does. And a lot of people think that nice, clean look looks really smooth and everything when he puts the silicone on, and that's what he was using. One of the things that he was using was mineral spirits. And do not do that. Now, he's right. They do that probably at the, I don't know for a fact, but if that's what he's saying, then yeah, he does it right. Because time and time again, these campers and coaches come in here and everything's falling out. It's not stuck. You do not want to use mineral spirits. You don't want to use mineral spirits at all. You want to use denatured alcohol, or you can use like lacquer or acetone. You can use an alcohol around to clean. When you come up to something where you may have a decal, maybe a decal runs over, you have to use denatured alcohol on a decal, and you have to be real careful when you do. It's just ink. So what will happen is if you use something more aggressive, it's going to bleed it and it's going to make a mess. It'll make a mess and you'll ruin the decal. So you want to use something a little more gentle than that. And denatured is just rubbing alcohol, so you could use that. And obviously be cautious when you do to make sure. I don't know how old some of the decals you all get out there, but you know, some of them may be affected a little differently, so be cautious of that. You do not want to use mineral spirits. I cannot stress that enough. So this guy, what he did is he showed, there's actually a slide out that he was doing, and he says, hey, this is what you do, soak that rag down with mineral spirits, and you want to clean it real thoroughly, which you do want to clean it thoroughly, so, but not with mineral spirits. But anyhow, he rubbed it all down with mineral spirits, then he takes the silicone and he goes, and then he takes that same sopping rag and he wipes down so it smoothed it all out. If you know how to use a caulking gun, you shouldn't have to actually go back to do that. But here's the problem with mineral spirits. Mineral spirits has what's called petroleum distillates in it. And petroleum distillates is like that little film that you may feel on like diesel or kerosene. It's got that slickness to it. So what's going to stick to that? Nothing. But, you know, he was right. That's probably what they do at the factory, because that's why it all fails. One thing you can count on, that if it came out of the factory a certain way, chances are it's going to fail. And they design them all to fail. I don't know. I really think they go out of their way to say, hey, let's do it the wrong way so it'll fail, so people get disgusted and bring it back to a shop, or they'll get disgusted and sell it. So, you know, we want to clean all this, but do not use mineral spirits. And if you see that video, do not follow that. Do not follow that. So I'm going to show you how we clean them and how we get all of this off of here. And I've got another product that I use, and I hate silicone. I've said that before. However, I'm going to retract that statement. I'm going to show you a product that I came across from my supplier that is a really good product, and it's designed to stick to other silicone. That's what they tell me. So we're going to try it on this, and I'm hoping it's going to, I've tried it on a few tests at my shop, and I've been bouncing with it for a little bit here to see if I like it. But what I do like about it is it stays cleaner than than the M1 and the Duralink that we normally use. So we're going to go over it with that, and like I said, I'll show you that. But do not, and even if you're not sure of what you're using, it's real simple. You take the product, punch it into the computer, okay? Get on the internet, put it in there, dingling caulking, whatever it is, and then you'll see. Go to that, whoever the manufacturer is, and there'll be a tech data sheet. And that tech data sheet tells you about the cleanup, the preparation, application, the intention, where it was meant to be used. It'll tell you all that. So this way you're not using the wrong product for the wrong application. Use the wrong product for the wrong application, well, obviously it's going to fail. So you don't want to take anything out of its bounds of whatever it was tested for. So like I said, I'll show you all this here in just a bit, but I do want to show you, like, this is what we're trying to do now. So I want to get some more of that off of there. You can see that. I want to get those little whiskers off especially and clean that down a little bit. So, and this had some silicone here and it had something else there. It was kind of hodgepodge together. So we are done. Roof is complete. We got our great logo on there. Bam. RVRoofInstall.com. The month and the year, so then we can see how this roof is performing. The other thing we did, remember in the first part of the video, we had lights up here. So what we're going to do is just put a small piece of steel going across there, and you're going to mount the lights to that. So we've got the radio down over there. That's a radio antenna. And then we made the new curb right here for the new antenna. He had I think he had a crank up on there before. So we've got the flashing detail on the front of the AC right underneath there. And what that's for is The way these curbs are designed, I'll go over this real quick here, if this is your first video watching. All right, the way these curbs are designed, when the water comes across the roof, you get hit with a real heavy storm, and that water is just pouring across the roof. When it comes across, it may want to get pushed up with the wind up this way onto the curb. That's a piece of counter flash. That's what it does. It'll get the water to actually roll and come out. It'll come around the side. Obviously though, go around this rail, obviously you have water that's hitting down, coming down, and it's going to roll across the air conditioner. The air conditioner always sits closest to the front of the curb. You can see how close it is. There is a foam gasket up inside there. So to protect it, to make sure the water doesn't want to go back up in there, we put that piece of counter flash in the front, right here. You can see it there, and it goes up underneath the lid, so any water that comes around, it's going to hit and drip out, and then it's going to go to the back, okay? On the actual sides, the way the formation is on the bottom of the frame of the AC, it's got corrugations and things, so that water will start trickling and it'll start, you know, drooling out on the side. So that's how that works. We've got these stands in the back. We fabricate those as well. We've got some plumbing boots. So if those caps pop off, it still can't leak. Those are, it'll actually just fill up your holding tank. And depending on how much rain you get, you may have to open up your holding tank. Empty that a couple times, I don't know. 2 strikes along the front here. And along the front over here rather, the front, and then on the sides on this termination bar, right here, there's 2 strikes of caulking on there. You operate a caulking gun, sometimes you'll hear it pop and crackle. That's air in there, so I want to make sure that we get this thing sealed and sealed right. If we just took off with 1 layer and you go down the road, these things rack, twist, flex, and if that little air bubble pops, well, now there's no protection, right? You got potentially a small leak. So to prevent that, we have another strike on top. What's the chance of having 1 air bubble over another? Very slim. This awning rail right here in the gutter, it's a gutter awning rail, that's actually glued in there as well. And then we have a special spline that we put in. This spline goes in and out of the track. It does both. So we had a special order that you can't get it in black, but we had to buy a whole boatload of it, and it just works better, but the RV industry doesn't want to spend the extra money, so we had to have it custom made for us. Obviously we got the curves on here. Like to see these covers on here. If you don't have covers and you bring it in here, you're probably going to want to get a cover. It does a few things. One, it allows you to open the vents up in the rain, but it also sheds more water away from the vent, which is always a plus. And also it keeps some extra UV light off of the caulking. Even though all this caulking is rated for that, it just helps keep some of it off of there. So all these curbs, they all have a recession in them, so the water, even if it hit the actual counter flash, that little piece right there, it'll tend to want to drip off instead of roll back in on top of the curb. So that's our little Jayco here. So she's ready to roll, ready to head back to Wisconsin. And I guess it's real cold up there. It's already all hooked up, ready to head out. So I'm going to go down. I know we started showing you on some of the caulking, and then honestly the camera was put aside, and I was just so busy trying to get this thing put together for this guy. And if you can hear in the background, we get some Frank Sinatra station on there, and it's a Sunday, so I was trying to get this ready so he can roll with it and get back to Wisconsin. But let me go down and show you how we did some of the caulking. I mean, you can actually see some of it here, how clean it is with the second strike, but I'll show you down there in a second. Okay, so what we did is go around, we cleaned out all the caulking around here. We actually caulked inside, but then when you do a nice piece, that looks pretty nice right there, and as you come around you see a couple of whiskers. I call that bleed off. That's not a big deal. When you do caulking, some people, their first instinct is wipe that off. Just leave it there. You can take a little, this is just a little window scraper, straight edge blade, and you can just nice and easy just nudge that right out of there. See, it'll come right off. So sometimes when you try to get in there with your finger and you're trying to, even with a rag or something, trying to wipe it off, then you mess up the good stuff that you already did. So just don't worry about it. You can go around afterwards and just kind of strike all that off. But that's what we did. We went around everything. Even go inside here. This is a storage door right here. So go inside as well. We did that with a clear, but we went around all of this product here, all of this rather. Blah, blah, blah. More coffee. I need more coffee. Around the door. Went around here with clear. Go inside the glass on your door. Definitely do that. We take these off. We take these off. Actually, there are screws here, and there are screws inside here. So we took all that off, loaded it in the back, pushed it in, right? Took this off, loaded it in the back, pushed it in, And then we did the same with this, and then I went around the outside as well. So you want to try to take the handles off like that and then load them in the back, so you don't ever have to worry about anything ever breaching it, because these take a lot of abuse when you're pulling on them. You know, you don't want anything to ever loosen up to where you could get something in there. But we did the same with the latches, like this latch right here. We did the same thing, take it off, and got that one squared away. And even on this one we did this one, and I did these in clear, went around all the screws. And on this one here, he's got this diamond plate, did that in clear. And obviously you can see we went white, and then we went black. I just thought it would look better, so instead of having white on top of there. And again, around the speaker. So you want to go around every single thing, even here, this is for the grill. And you have to really be cautious when you do in the side there, because that grill is still going to have room to move. If you put too much caulking there, you know, it'll be all bound up. You won't be able to slide the grill on. So we reached in there and I just took a tool and I kind of forced it inside there. He's going to change these brackets out anyway, so that's why we didn't get around there. Around your lights. So these are some of the things you want to do around these lights, and just take your time and you just do a nice strike of caulking on there. There's another video. It's a sun, what is it called? A sun setter. I think it's called a sun setter. And we resealed that, and I show how to go about it. But earlier I was talking about, you do not want to wash this down with denatured alcohol. Don't do that. Excuse me, you do want to use denatured. Do not use mineral spirits. Do not use mineral spirits. Use denatured alcohol. But this one got a little squirrely on me, and we had to tape it off because this fender is just all over the place. So I tried to put a piece of tape on there to make it come out a little cleaner. And then I just took a little rubber tool and just mashed it in there, and then I just peeled the tape off, so it's come out a little cleaner than what it was, because at least when you look at it visually, it looks right. But if that wasn't there and I followed the fender really has quite a few tips in it. But that's about the tips I can give you on this. Again, we went around that light. You want to go around everything. We don't typically go under the gutters. You don't really need to unless you think there's an issue or it's got too much gapping. Anything that, if there was a leak, I'd rather have it be able to leak out and you could see something. If you see streaks that are uncommon or not normal, you may bring your eye to it and go, why is that? And you can always check something out. But normally we don't caulk underneath there. I know some other places they put it on there, but it's really not necessary. We don't normally even go all around underneath the whole window. We usually bring them around. And but anyhow, if you have any questions, you give us a call, go to our website. We appreciate you watching, and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.